This is crazy. Y'all just took like 8 black people up the plane. What?
On January 5th, 8 black men, including Emmanuel Jean Joseph, Xavier Veal, and Alvin Jackson, were kicked off American Airlines Flight 832 from Phoenix to New York.
There was a flight attendant walking down the aisle, and they were plucking people what seemed at random, telling them that they had to be placed onto another flight.
So you just had to take your belongings, and I was like, why? She was like, oh, we'll tell you when we get off the plane.
I got up, then I noticed down the aisle as I'm walking, and the person behind me and the couple people ahead of me, it's all just black men, which then I'm starting to get a little bit much more frustrated, and I'm like, oh, wow, it's only the black males on the plane. All right, what's going on?
Now, they're suing American Airlines for discrimination, and they're represented by a public citizen in Outten Golden.
When they asked American Airlines representatives what was happening, what was going on, they received the extremely bizarre explanation that they were being asked to leave because a white male flight attendant had complained about somebody's body odor.
When I turned around and heard those words from her, I kind of was shocked and appalled.
None of our clients had a problem with body odor. They were removed because they were black men. And there are 2 reasons we know this was a clear case of race discrimination. The first is that American Airlines representatives walked down the aisle and systematically picked out every black male passenger aboard the flight. They were going into separate rows on different sides of the plane. I mean, if this was really a concern about odor, they would have targeted the place where the odor was coming from, not walked up and down the aisle and selected every black man aboard the flight.
The attendant was walking down the aisle and not necessarily like with intent being like, hey, you, and you. They were hesitant and like, okay, like trying to find where the black people were. Like, there's another one. There you go. Like, that's what was happening.
They didn't seem to be following any policy or procedure. It just was like off of the top, grab the black men off of the plane.
I'm gonna need everyone to exit the top of the jet.
Yo, I paid for the flight just like everybody else. So we don't have a right to be on this flight?
All the staff that was at the gate, or the bridge, excuse me, were people of color.
They seem to have been brought down to speak to us because they were also people of color. The flight attendant that made the initial claim happened to be a white gentleman.
A couple of the people working were apologizing throughout the time, which really made it seem like they didn't agree with what they were doing as well.
We have on video American Airlines representatives agreeing with our clients that this was discriminatory and that they were removed from the flight because of the color of their skin.
So this is discrimination.
Yo, this is insane.
I agree.
Yo,
Just because of the color of my skin. Okay.
I do not disagree with you.
This is insane. I don't even know the terminology for what just happened other than discrimination.
Initially, American Airlines had said that they would have to rebook all 8 passengers aboard another flight. But when they realized that there wasn't another flight going to JFK that evening, they ended up letting all 8 passengers back on.
We just finally were readdressed by the same people of color that were working there and told us, okay, like you can get back on the plane now. It's all fine, which we weren't all fine.
It's impossible to imagine how humiliating that is, to be asked to reboard a plane full of angry passengers who had been delayed on their flight. And this is after the passengers that were still on board the flight had been told that all of the men were removed because of a complaint about body odor. It's really unthinkable.
You can tell some side eyes were happening, which is obviously uncomfortable.
Still doesn't sit well, even now when I've had to talk about it. I feel like build up in my energy that I don't want to feel.
What happened here was completely outrageous. And Public Citizen is really proud to fight for people who have experienced injustice, especially injustice at the hands of big corporations.
Like, something has to happen regarding the way that people get hired in American Airlines. It's not like I just want to win the case. Like, something has to change.
I think there has to be some type of training or racial sensitive training in terms of American Airlines employees.
American Airlines has a well-documented history of mistreating Black passengers, and that's why we're really proud to represent our clients in their fight to hold this corporation accountable. It shouldn't have happened to them, and it shouldn't happen to anyone else in the future.
Like, that wasn't fair for us. It's still not fair, and something needs to happen.